Hey landlords, thanks for joining today. My name is Paul J. Rouillard with OLH, Ontario Landlord Help Group. Today we have Matthew Ball from Billyard Insurance Group. So we're gonna do a Q&A with Matthew. He's got some really great advice for landlords, including student rooms, rooming houses, Airbnbs, VRBOs, just lots of really great information for landlords. So let's roll into that meeting, and thanks for joining. We appreciate it. Well, Matthew Ball, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Good to see you today.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
That's great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what company you're with, what kind of advice you have for landlords, etc. And we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Matthew Ball. I have been in the insurance industry actually 17 years today. I started working with State Farm, opened up the Guelph branch of Billyard Insurance Group in 2017. I do home, auto, commercial insurance, financial services such as life insurance, health, travel, investments. But my personal focus is on the commercial insurance side of the business. So things I can do to help landlords here in Ontario is I insure things like single family rentals, short and long-term leases, including Airbnb, VBRO. I can do vacant homes. I do vacation rentals, commercial apartment buildings, including mid-rises as well as high-rise buildings, and student rental as well as rooming homes.
You mentioned Airbnb and VRBO. I got to stop you there. I get questions all the time. I even have my own Airbnb units. And you mentioned that you offer insurance for Airbnb and VRBO units?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that I pay insurance through the guest and paying for the service fees on Airbnb and VRBO. What kind of different things do you offer when it comes to the insurance, and how would that work to have you offering the insurance and then Airbnb offering their own insurance? What's the difference?
Yeah, so the big difference is the Airbnb insurance has specific limitations to what they will cover. Generally speaking, it's damages caused by the tenants. So if the tenant burns down your unit, you would go to Airbnb, you put your claim through there, they would look over things, they would approve it and pay out, and everybody's happy. In the event that something does happen to the property, say when it's not being rented through Airbnb and it's a rainstorm between appointments or between bookings, then what you would do is you would be able to go to your insurance company that you have it insured with and be able to file a claim through there, because it has absolutely nothing to do with the tenant or Airbnb.
Right.
You would still need to have insurance on the actual house, but disclose that it's being rented as an Airbnb in order for there to be coverage.
That's another. I got another question just on that. But first, so let's just say there was a guest in one of the units, and there was a fire in the building, and it was an electrical fire. Would that fall on Airbnb insurance, or would this fall under your umbrella of insurance?
If it has absolutely nothing to do with the tenant itself, it would go to the insurance policy that you have the home insured with. So the guy that I set you up with, that company would be the one who would be responsible for the claim on that side, because it has absolutely nothing to do with the tenant. So Airbnb wouldn't cover that side of it.
Okay. Yeah, I see it all the time with landlords asking these questions about Airbnb, insurance, etc. Even myself, when I was setting all this stuff up, I was very confused because I go and read the terms of what Airbnb insurance says, and it's enough information just to really confuse you and not knowing. And at the same time, you have the little bug in your head saying, I don't want to call my insurance provider because I don't want them, raising my premiums or thinking something different. So a lot of landlords actually don't even notify their insurance provider. And in that case, those landlords who do that, what would happen?
In those cases where we don't know what you're doing, as in you're renting it through Airbnb, if there was a loss, there's a good chance the insurance company isn't going to cover it. because you may not have the proper endorsements on your policy. May not have the proper policy at all. So the insurance company would look at it as what they like to call a material change in risk, meaning we're insuring it for one thing, but you're using it as the other. So your claim could potentially be denied and you could be out thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars
Your whole
because
life, everything you worked for.
yeah, because you want to save a few bucks on the insurance, unfortunately.
Wow,
See it all the time.
That's huge. That is huge, huge, huge advice. There's so many VRBO Airbnb units out there. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of them, and I can probably bet that at least 50% of them are doing this without any disclosures.
Oh, I bet you it's higher than that.
Probably, I am sure, because even back then when I first started it, it was in the back of my mind saying, should I disclose it? And if you don't have the right people to ask these questions to, it's always, you're always thinking people are taking advantage of you, especially in, when you're dealing with sales positions and commission, where landlords really don't have a source to go to ask these questions. And, a lot of times they just end up doing it without it and hoping that nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. You also mentioned rooming houses and students. That's another huge biggie. We get a lot of postings just on student rentals and rooming houses. And why it's so hard to get insurance for them. I know just recently, your brokerage, Billyard Insurance Group, they just insured one of my properties, and I did a full conversion on one of my units, and I converted it into a student rental. Prior to that, I was getting about $1,300 for that unit. I did a full conversion. I basically set it up as Airbnb style. So I'm allowing, short-term students if they just want 3 months or 2 months or whichever the case may be, but everything is there and it's beautiful. It's luxury. They get custom ND queen size beds, memory foam, beautiful beds. Each bedroom has a 55-inch TV. There's IKEA desks. The furniture is just absolutely amazing too. So I set my place up like that. The first thing that I did is I called you guys, Billyard Insurance Group, and you guys got me quotes, and it was literally like for a whole year, it was around like maybe $1,000 more for the entire year. And now I'm renting that unit. I'm getting almost I'm getting $2,250 just for that unit. So it makes sense. So I'm really happy that I did the full disclosure with you guys. You guys got me some quotes right away. But tell me, why is it so hard to get insurance on these type of properties?
Yeah, they are definitely tough to insure. Most insurance companies don't like them simply because higher risk, because you've got three or more individuals, or unrelated individuals, I should say, living in a house, sharing a kitchen, sharing a bathroom, sharing common living space. So with insurance being a statistically run organization and industry, those tend to have higher loss ratios, higher costs. So insurance companies tend to put a higher premium on those. Most insurance companies that we find on the standard market side, like Allstate, Desjardins, Aviva, Intact, they don't even bother insuring those kind of properties because the risk just outweighs the reward, so to speak. So what we tend to have to do is go to the secondary markets, and then once we go down that road, we're adding an additional premium, we're adding fees, we're just adding a higher cost because it's simply a higher risk in their eyes. So that tends to be the reason why it's a little bit harder, because there's a very niche market of companies that want to take on and are willing to take on that kind of risk.
Right, and there's thousands and thousands of landlords who just specifically do student rentals, and there's such a big question in this industry on it. So hopefully this helps other landlords a bit about that. You mentioned like Allstate and Desjardins, etc. So this particular property was insured with Allstate, and when I called them, I said, I'm going to convert to student rental, and her on the other end, she's like, So that's where I've just kind of like sat back a little bit, and I've already put my investment into the unit. So I kind of just sat there and said, oh man, what do I do? So if I can't get insurance for this thing, I just spent all this money to set it up, which I should have rewinded it a little bit and got my, my ducks in a row first. But I'm really happy I found you guys, because you guys did the insurance for that, and it was really like, by the time I sent you guys a message, it was literally, I had a quote within like 2 days, and by the third day, I think I was signed up, and the fourth day, I
Yeah.
paid my premiums. So it was actually really quick and a seamless process. I got another question on that, which I think a lot of landlords might relate to this. So I had one of my units become available last night, so I did all my postings on there, and I'm starting to get a lot of inquiries on it, and it's something that happens all the time. Where this particular unit is a 1-bedroom unit, and I'm getting messages saying, "Hey, can me and my 3 friends live in this 1 bedroom, or can me and my 4 friends live in this 1 bedroom?" How does that affect the insurance, and is this something where you would turn down based on that, or is it, something that we shouldn't even think of considering? And the reason why I'm asking
Yeah.
is because this particular unit, I'm looking for 1550 on it. That's based on 2 heads. Each additional head, if I would maybe put 3 in there if I can get the insurance for it, but I would charge an additional 350 for that additional person. So trying to bring my rents up to around 1900 or 2000, in around that range.
Yeah, that's definitely something we would be able to look at. Again, it might be a little bit trickier because we would have to go to a secondary market. We would have to disclose how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how many occupants. And then it's really up to the market to decide if they want to take on that risk or not. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. It just may take a little bit longer, but it's definitely something as a broker we have the ability to do because we have access to the multiple markets. And if one says no, we can always go on to the next one. So it's definitely something that's not ideal because you've got
Yes.
1 bedroom, you've got 3 individuals, but it's definitely not something that you should say no to because you can't get insurance. We can definitely find something. It just might be a little bit more difficult than say if it was just a 1 bedroom, one individual,
Yeah.
or even 2 individuals being a couple or something like that. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, this particular unit is about 1,000 square feet, so it's pretty good size. Really big living room, nice huge bathroom. The bedroom itself is like almost like 15 by 15, so it's a really good size unit. I mean, myself, I'm just speaking on behalf of other landlords, so that particular property, I'm just going to have 1 student in there. I'm not doing any room shares, but I'm also considering maybe demoing that complete unit and doing what I did with my other unit, is putting a 3 bedroom up in there. And I did a lot of research on people living abroad, different areas like Korea or China, or different regions where there's tiny living. Even New York has some really neat loft ideas, where they're taking spaces, they're stripping them down, but every single space is useful. So we build custom beds. That's what I did in my other unit. So the beds would have custom frames where they have pull-out drawers in them. They're taking a little bit extra step up, but it's really set up really uniquely for students where they may be living in 75 square feet bedroom, but it's really set up where it feels like more space than maybe 120 square feet bedroom. So that particular unit, if I did this, and let's say I did put 2 or 3 students in that, would they take my whole file for that building and kind of rescope the entire quote, or would this be something where I might be getting into some dangerous, dangerous field of, at least letting the insurance company know that hey, there could be some risks in here.
yeah, it's always important to disclose any changes that you make. I mean, one of the big reasons for that would be the amount of money that you're putting into doing that renovation. If we're not taking that into consideration, we could have an issue with coverage and not having enough coverage. So you definitely want to disclose these things, and if we need to update, change your policy, amend things, that's definitely something that that we should do.
All right, Matthew, so that's some really awesome information, and I know this is going to help a lot of landlords. So student rooms, rooming houses, these kind of properties, what can a landlord do to lower their costs?
Buy a condo. That way we don't have a building to insure. No, there's lots of different things that you can do as a landlord to help reduce the cost of the insurance. I mean, a big thing is knowing that the location, the age of the home is going to affect the rebuild cost, and the rebuild cost is what drives a majority of the insurance premium. The other things to be aware of is occupancy. Is it going to be a student housing? Is it going to be a rooming house? Are we going to insure, or are we going to just do a single family for insurance purposes? All that will have a factor on the cost of the insurance. The other things are, how updated are your utilities? Are you inspecting the property regularly, or do you have a property management company who's going to look after the property? Different things like that will definitely help drive price, as well as just what options do you want? Do you want 1 million liability, 2 million liability, 5 million liability? How much coverage do you need for loss of income? Sewer backup coverage, is that something that we're going to need on there? How much content coverage as a landlord are you going to need? Are we just going to be covering appliances? Are you furnishing the whole house? Different things like that are driving factors on the cost of insurance. Now, what can you do to help lower that? If it's just a single family property, always check with your current home insurance company. They can usually accommodate a rental property if they write that kind of risk, and you'll generally get better pricing because you have a history with them.
Right.
If that's not an option, give a broker a call. We have access to multiple insurance markets. I think I deal with 25 or 30 different companies. So I can save you a lot of time just by shopping the markets and looking at who's offering not only the best price, but the right coverage. Because the thing that a lot of landlords don't realize is that they get a mortgage, say with TD Bank, and their mortgage clause requires replacement cost or even guaranteed replacement. So once you start getting into rental properties, it's very difficult to find, and that sometimes has a premium added to it as well. So those are some different ways to try to reduce the cost of insurance, but the biggest thing is do your research ahead of time, know what you're looking at, know where you're looking at, how you're going to rent it, and contact a broker or your insurance company to have all those expenses figured out before you put down that purchase.
Awesome.
So those are the greatest ways to help reduce your costs, but in the end, insurance for your property is a get what you pay for kind of product. So
and always disclose what you're doing.
And always disclose what you're doing.
That's awesome, Matthew. I really appreciate everything. I appreciate the time here. I know that everything that you said today is going to help landlords. That's a fact. Even a few things that you mentioned here is kind of clicking. So I think as soon as we get off here, I'm going to have to take some notes here and maybe bug you again tomorrow. But yeah, Matthew Ball here from Billyard Insurance Group. He is one of our trusted businesses with the OLH, Ontario Landlord Help Group. So give him a call. He's going to help you out. He's going to give you insurance. He's going to get you some quotes, and he's going to drive you in the right direction so you can be protected and save more money.
Perfect. Thanks, Paul.
All right. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Good one.
Take care.
That was an awesome meeting. Matthew had some really great information. Even some of the things that he was saying, triggered my mind into thinking different ways of using insurance to benefit myself, different ways of saving money. So excellent information. So yes, Matthew, like I mentioned, he's a trusted business with the Ontario Landlord Help Group. You can be a trusted business as well. Just contact us if you're a business and send us the information all about your business. We'll do a quick interview with you and we'll see if you are a great fit for our landlords, and we'll go from there. Thanks again, everybody. Landlords, we appreciate it. Have a great day and happy landlording. Take care.